So I'm back with you again. I've been pretty motivated here to talk about gaslighting. A lot of people will call other people, call what other people are doing gaslighting, when in fact they themselves are just lying to you. It's just the same thing. They use the term gaslight and they use the term conspiracy theory to try to diminish what is being told to you. For you, they don't want you to look any further. They just want to. They want you to stop you from thinking any further than what you're thinking. Um, Now, that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm just talking today. I'm talking about what gaslighting is, and where it's all around us all the time. So I'm going to address that. So, how are we being gaslight? Well, whenever anyone disagrees with gaslighters, they normally will. The gaslighters will normally argue that there's certain details in what this being told you that you're learning that is wrong. It's makes the whole idea untrue. They go after little details instead of going after the substance. This is where often, if you hear things enough of something over and over and over again, then, and I don't mean the same thing. I mean enough of pieces of data, a multitude of data that draws a picture. Okay, creates a whole universe of something to look at, a world of something to look at. Then you may be finding. Now, it's very important that you find out whether or not that data is true or not, because it could just be a matrix being created for you. It just could be a hologram for you, okay? Something that looks real that's not. So you have to make sure that it's a real thing. You have to make sure that something is of true substance. So, and you do that by, yes, checking details. But the problem with the people who are trying to gaslight you is they'll pretend that anything you have heard is just all a big lie, because they'll pick out one little thing and they'll try to argue that, well, because that one little thing is not exactly correct, then everything you're hearing is just a lie. You need to learn for yourself. You need to open your head and learn for yourself. So, we all hate injustice. We all believe in love and kindness. And we believe that we're good. We're good people when we promote these things. I think, at least that's the kind of people I'm around my whole life. And I've been that kind of person myself. I want to be a good person. I want to fight injustice. I've done things in my lifetime. I stood up for people in my lifetime. I see them being treated unjustly. I'm going to stand up for them. The thing is, I'm in the room with them. I know exactly what's going on when I stand up for them. I'm not just hearing something that somebody's promoting to me. Okay. But we want to stand up against injustice. We want to promote love. We want to promote kindness. We like to promote unity because, of course, we want everybody to get along. And it is the use of these kind of notions that the liars, the evil, wrangles their way into our lives and manipulates us. So the gaslighters pretend that they are promoting love and kindness and justice and those kind of things. So here's an example of this. If I'm a good person and I'm supporting love, kindness, and justice, I'm not going to believe your lies. And the example is, I'm going to assume that you're telling me a lie because I'm already promoting, I'm a good person. How dare you tell me that what I believe is wrong because I'm a good person? So an example of this is, do I love the planet? Now, I've been involved in environmental. If you've watched my other videos, you heard me talk about how, as a leader in my local 4-H club, on the first Earth Day, we went out and cleaned up the roadside in a park nearby. Okay, now we're kids, teenagers. We're looking for something to do that shows that we support this notion, and so that's what we went out and did. Okay, but my point I'm making is that this is not something that I just came across as, I didn't become an environmental advocate just out of the blue. It was something that I felt some passion about even pretty young. So, do I love the planet? Well, if I love the planet, then I'm going to fight against global warming and or global cooling. It was cooling at one point, and then it became global warming, and or pollution. Fight against pollution, clean water, etc. Right? Clean air, all of these things, because I'm an environmental person. Now, there's other people who will argue about clean air because they think we're getting killed by stuff being put into the air, and not just for the sake of the idea of clean air, right? But they actually think it's for personal health that they're arguing about, which is a fine thing to be doing. But we eat up the knowledge about whatever our passion is, whatever your passion is. Maybe it's helping people of a minority race. Maybe it's helping people on the other side of the world. This is what people who care about Christian missions and things like that, they're trying to help people across the world because they believe and have this particular belief. What's your passion? What are you fighting for? What do you think makes you a good person? So we go after these things. And it's very hard to run into a wall that tells us, or run into a gate that is closed, that reveals something that doesn't fit what we've been passionately fighting for. So, and a good example of this, the giant Pacific garbage patch. Now, I did a video, and I'll attach it at the end. You can look at it as a separate video in just a little bit after you watch the video below. And I address this to a degree in that particular video. So, but this is from Scientific Origin. I went online. I typed in giant Pacific garbage patch, and there's all kind of stuff telling you how there's this terrible giant garbage patch out there, right? That's primarily what you're going to see. Okay, so this is what Scientific Origin says. This is from their website. The Great Pacific Garbage Patch is a concentrated area of marine debris located between Hawaii and California. That's a long way. It spans an estimated 1.6 million square kilometers, roughly twice the size of Texas. That's bad. Man, when I heard about that originally, whoa, that's terrible. What are we doing? And then you get pictures of it. You go online, yet they show pictures of it, and it's just all of this plastic stuff and bottles and all kind of plastic debris that looks like it came right out of our local garbage dump. And they take a shot at it. It's just, for everything you can see, looks like it. Now, once you look at the video that's attached, you're going to see that what they reveal, and that is that this garbage patch is not. It's nothing like what is described here. This is the classical description that the classical description of it, what I've just shared. What they reveal is that, well, there is junk out there in the middle of the ocean, and most of it is like stuff that's been thrown off of fishing trawlers and stuff like that. Debris that they, for whatever reason, maybe they had a bad storm and it got washed off of the trawler. Maybe they just needed more room for more fish, and they threw something off the boat for them to put more fish, or whatever their reason. I'm just giving you some hypothetical. But for some reason, it's basically the fishing industry that's dumping stuff out and it's big stuff. It's not a container for laundry detergent or a bottle cap. Although there's a place, I think Midway. Midway has all this plastic bottle cap stuff and stuff like that out on Midway that washes up on shore. But that's at Hawaii, right? That's not out in the middle of the ocean. But anyway, that's what this is. This is what's truly out there, and it's not this just all stuck together for thousands and thousands of miles of plastic. It's just some stuff floating out there, and it may be more than we want to have. I'm not saying it's good. but it's there. And they also describe these shots of pictures that we see on the internet, etc., that has everything just packed together, just and looks like it goes on across the horizon forever. This is just really patches that are like a few miles off the coast of California, not many miles off of California. So it's not stretching 1.6 million square kilometers. All right, out in the middle. Now, and probably anyway. The point is, it's not what you've been told. I was gaslit. I've been told, and they continue to tell me stuff that's just not really true. Okay? I'm not saying we don't have pollution in the ocean. I'm saying what they've told us isn't true. And this is the truth about global warming and other things like that, which if you can listen to me talk in other videos, I've been all in on global warming until I finally, after looking for facts, give me some facts. Don't just give me these statements. Give me the physical, scientific fact. And once you go looking for the facts, they're just not there. Ice Age information, yada, yada, yada. What they claim, just no. There are some facts. They use some facts to gaslight you. Now, I'm talking about the planet at the moment. But there's other things. This is pervasively throughout your life that you're being gaslit. Now, and the first thing that hit me was a couple of days ago, and I was watching a video, and the presenter, the commentator who was talking about how Europe is acting about the United States and NATO, support of NATO. And he pointed out that, guess what? Europe has over approximately twice as many people as the United States. Twice as many people. Europe provides way less than even half, all of them together, even half of the financial support for NATO. The United States far, far surpasses Europe in the provision of funds for NATO. And yet Europe, the NATO people are complaining, the European leaders are complaining about how the United States is walking away from NATO. Well, in reality, the United States is just saying, hey, you need to do more NATO. Or, obviously, we're not going to get pulled into something. We're not interested, and in this case, it would be, for example, the war in Ukraine. We don't want to get pulled into a war in Ukraine over something that really has no effect on the United States at all, and seems to be senseless for everybody involved. All these people dying. So, how can they be? What's going on? Well, they're gaslighting us. All those leaders get up, and we watch it on the news. The news shows us the leader complaining about the European leader complaining about how the United States isn't being just. We're not being just or kind and loving because we're not giving them more money. And we're making them, I was talking to my wife earlier today, and I said, look, it ain't love unless it's tough love. There's no love unless there's tough love. When your child is, when you told your child not to walk into the street, and he does, and you go out there and you whack him on the bottom, give him a spanking, and say, I told you not to walk in that street. Well, the reason you told him not to walk into the street, he's 3 years old, is that you want him to be protected. You certainly don't let him he might walk into the street when you're not looking. So he needs to mind you. You're loving him. So sometimes it is not fun to receive love. And in this case, hey, guess what? It's not loving for us to have to, sacrifice ourselves for Europe. If it's one thing, yes, we might be able to help them out in different ways, and we should, but this is gaslighting, that they try to convince us that we are being bad for saying, hey, maybe this NATO thing's not working out the way we thought it was going to work out, or it's certainly not serving a purpose that is any good for the United States anymore. So that's just one example. Another example, I was listening, as I say all the time, I'm always listening to various podcasts all day long as I do other work. And I was listening to Candace Owens talking about the French president's wife. And, well, she provides all kind of details. She goes into extensive consideration on her ideas that she thinks is true. So I got through watching her talking about what she thinks is something worth considering. And then I watched another podcast that was on the same subject. And the person who was talking, they were having an interview, and the person that was talking on that one was just pointing out how, I don't believe any of that. It's just ridiculous. How can that be? There's no way what Candace Owen is saying. It just doesn't even make sense. It's not true. Okay. Well, the difference in what Candace was doing was Candace was giving us data. Okay. She was giving us factual points. Now, some of it is circumstantial, like, for example, a man who walks into a church, and this is not, I'm just giving you a hypothetical kind of idea. A man walks into a church, 5 hours later, they find the preacher dead in the church. So, and the man can't explain where he had been for the past 5 hours. It's known that the man was angry at the preacher. So you start putting, this is the way we do trials all the time. Circumstantial evidence puts people in prison all the time. It's putting together all the pieces of circumstantial evidence that creates the world that you see, the reality that you see. And then you say, okay, because of all of that circumstantial evidence. Okay, so that's what Candace was doing, and giving this just piles of circumstantial evidence. And this other person's just saying, it can't be true. That person's gaslighting me. Doesn't make sense. That person, everybody knows that person is Candace Owen is talking about. Everybody knows that person is a highly respected person, and they're above reproach, and yada, yada, yada. No, not one fact did this person argue. Not one fact. Just gaslighting. This is what we get on the news and on talk shows. What was it? I remember Whoopi Goldberg on one thing talking about how Jill Biden was a terrific doctor. Medical doctor. She was really, and then the other people on The View pointed out to her, no, she's not a medical. She's has a PhD. She's not a medical. So how the heck can somebody I'm supposed to be listening to tell me such a far-fetched thing? She's a great medical doctor. There was no way for her to have any evidence that she was a great medical doctor, because nothing had ever been written about her being a great medical doctor. She's just gaslighting us, and unfortunately for her, it was a known fact that people couldn't let that go. They had to say, no, the rest of us aren't that stupid on this, on The View. What Whoopi is saying is just gaslighting. So we got to tamp it down so that we all can maintain a little integrity, because everybody else is going to readily know that Whoopi's full of bull. So we just will kill it right now. Okay. Anyway, what I want you to look at below is a video on butter. And the importance of watching this video, on the one hand, if you eat butter, then you'll be happy to watch what he has to say. But he's responding to some study that happens to be made that is said that butter could kill you. It could hurt your health. And then he goes on to debunk it, and he debunks it all over the place. Okay? He debunks the study. And the different, and he explains to you and me why this study should be debunked. He explains how we all should be looking for all the information that he's talking about for this study, but it's the same process for everything that we consider in life. We need to study and find out what the facts are. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what it is that you're dealing. Is it public safety? Is it office safety? Safety in your office? Is what we're doing just some kind of tradition? The other day, I saw an explanation of why men have not on their, obviously this button means something. It's a functional button. But on men's suits, there's 2 or 3 buttons here, right? And the person explained, well, the reason you have these 2 or 3 buttons here is back whenever they had these big flowery kind of cuffs, all these puffy shirts that they were wearing back in the, 1700s, etc., 16, 17, 1800s. They would, when they went to eat, they would take their cuff and they would button it back onto their jacket in order to have their hands freed and not get out and get their hands in the food and stuff. Okay? Very logical. So, but if you bought a suit and it didn't have a couple of buttons here, wouldn't you think, if you're a man, you'd go, well, that's a little bit fun, unless you know nothing of, you're completely ignorant of men's fashion. But you just go, where's my buttons on my coat, We're supposed to have buttons. And this is the way we all have you're not the only one. I'm not most of us. There's things that we approach that way. We approach that thing with our faith. It doesn't matter whether we're a Muslim, a Christian, a Hindu, a Catholic, a Baptist. It doesn't matter what you are. That's the way so many people approach their faith. They've done little, if any, actually looking at any facts on anything. They've let some religious leader tell you what you ought to think. You just assume, or mom and dad, whatever, granddaddy, whoever. Good people that we need to listen to maybe about most things. But it's important for us to get the facts and figure out what reality is. And of course, obviously, there's, in the case of religion, yes, there's some people, some of these TV preachers are gaslighting you because they're trying to manipulate you to get something out of you. But maybe your granddaddy wasn't gaslighting you. He just loved you, and this is what he believed, and this is the tradition he lived by, and it's just handed down, so you go along with it. But if people make you feel a particular way, like you're not doing the right thing because you're not doing what they're doing, well, unless they can give you some good, hard, factual evidence, then you need to try to find out what that factual evidence is. And you may find out that, oh, there's other things I need to be thinking, and you can go back and try to tell those people what to believe, and they will not believe you probably. They're happy with what they believe. So it's really critical. Listen to this doctor. He's a medical doctor. Go through all of these aspects of how so much of what has been promoted about this study is just gaslighting. Somebody's getting something out of it. Certainly not the dairy business, but somebody else is. Maybe the people who make canola oil are getting something out of it because, oh, you're not going to use butter, you're going to use canola oil, etc. Right? So there's, I tell you what, I go into a doctor's office, I sit there and they have these TV screens going on with health information in them, and I listen to what they have to say about what you need to eat and why, and it's just promoting this same bull. Most of the people who are giving you information know nothing. They are writers, they are personalities, they know nothing. And they look up something, just like I did with this. I looked up Great Pacific Garbage Patch, and I looked at what the internet said, and every article said basically the same thing. And if I hadn't got some information elsewhere, I'd be still assuming it's all true, because whoever wrote that didn't know what the heck they were talking about. They just are promoting an idea, and you're happy to accept it because, oh, Hey, you want to be healthy? Oh, I'm going to do whatever the coolest. And I'm. This is a dangerous thing for me. I'm trying to be healthy, so I'm looking around at what's healthy. Now, I'm more obsessive than a lot of people about it. So you might look up something on is butter healthy, and you might see this article and go, "Oh, well, butter's not healthy." I know butter's healthy. There's multiple studies and everything, and frankly, there's all kind of people eating butter like crazy. There's one person who, one a doctor I saw, who whenever people come in to see her, she's a sort of a specialist. Uh, when people come in and they're really run down, anemic, etc., she puts them on a butter diet for days, only butter. That's how important butter is. But this study said something else. And of course, once again, let's let the doctor in this video explain how to consider things from an actual balanced, scientific, knowledge-based, fact-based way, instead of just getting gaslit by people writing all kind of bull. By people, we used not to eat cereals until, hey, all of a sudden now cereal's a primary part of your breakfast. And frankly, most cereal's going to kill you. That's what I have come to find out. I don't eat hardly any cereal. I eat too many carbohydrates. But I've cut way back, way back. Because every day I was pointing out, I can't remember what it was. I just saw just here the last day or so. But it was about collagen. So I was looking up, researching collagen. What's a good source of collagen? Or my question was, what foods and or vitamins help your body create collagen? Because your body makes collagen. Now, there's all kind of collagen products out there, but I wanted to know how your body makes collagen, because I want my body to do everything that it can do. And it said, protein is important for collagen. Vitamin C is important for your body to make collagen, and then a couple of different kind of foods. And then it had a little section about what was bad for collagen, and guess what? Sugar creates, I think, antioxidants or whatnot. Something that's not, I don't remember exactly, but something that's fights against your body making collagen. And I pointed out to my wife, every time I find anything that you shouldn't be eating, it's always sugar, carbohydrates. It's always sugar and or carbohydrates. It's always plain sugar or carbohydrates, which includes cereal, bread, fruit, beans, cookies, ice cream, cake. And I miss the cookies, ice cream, cake, but I'm going to have to live without it more than I used to. Anyway, I'm looking for the facts. I'm not looking for the guy who tells me, hey, I've got a new collagen product. It's the best one on the market. It'll help your skin be beautiful. Okay? That's gaslighting me. That's advertisement. Everything's advertisement. Everything's gaslighting. Look for the truth. That's what it comes down to. You've heard me say it before. I care about what the truth is. If we don't have truth, we don't have integrity. Look for the truth. Pray to God, the Creator, for the truth. And I believe you will find it. Have a good day.